guys, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this regal stitch. And to make this stitch you can use any size yarn and any size hook that goes with the size yarn. I'm using a worsted weight yarn, which is 4 ply for the US and 10 ply for Australia, and I'm using a 5mm hook, which is a size H hook. The multiples of this stitch is 8 plus 2. So what you want to do is chain in sets of 8 until you get the width that you want, and then you want to chain 2 before you get started. Every set of 8 chains makes one puff, one shell puff. So I did a total of 28 chains, and that's big enough. So I'm going to chain 2, and I'm ready to start. So I have a total of 30 chains. So for row 1, let me get just a little closer for you. For row 1, you want to single crochet in the second chain from your hook. Then you want to skip 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th chain you want to start your puff stitches. And to do your puff stitches, you want to yarn over, go into that stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. Then you want to do that 2 more times. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, go into that same stitch for the 3rd time, pull up a loop, 7 loops on your hook. You want to yarn over, pull through all 7 loops, then chain 2. And then you want to repeat that. Sorry, fighting with my yarn here. You want to repeat that 2 more times, all worked in the same stitch. So we're going to have a total of 3 puff stitches in the same chain. So yarn over, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, 7 loops on your hook, pull through all 7 loops, and chain 2. Then do that 1 more time, 1 more puff stitch. Pull through all 7 loops, and on this very last puff stitch, the 3rd puff stitch, you only want to chain 1 instead of 2. And then you will skip again 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch you'll put a single crochet. And then we'll repeat. So again, you're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch you'll start your puff stitch shell again. Going into the same stitch 3 times, yarning over, 7 loops on my hook, pull through all 7 loops, and chain 2. And again, yarn over, go into that same chain, and you'll be pulling up and yarning over a total of 3 times until you have 7 loops on your hook, pull through all 7 loops, and chain 2. And then the final one in the same stitch, 1, 2, 3, 7 loops on my hook, pull through all 7 loops, and on this 3rd one here again only chain 1. And then you'll skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th one put a single crochet. Single crochet will anchor down and pull down the sides of the shell so that it spreads it out a little bit. So after a single crochet again, you'll skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in this next stitch you'll start your last set of puff stitches. Pull through all 7 loops, chain 2, 2, 3, pull through all 7 loops, chain 2, and for the final puff stitch in this area, 1, 2, 3, pull through all 7 loops, this time only chain 1, and then you're going to skip these last 3, 1, 2, 3, and then as always you skip 3, and then you'll single crochet in that last chain. Okay, row 2. To begin row 2, you will chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and then turn. Now in this first single crochet, you'll want to do a double crochet. This chain 3, this chain 3 and this double crochet will count as 2 double crochets in this first single crochet. Then you want to chain 2, and then you'll want to find this first chain 2 between your first 2 puffs, and you'll put a single crochet in there. Then you'll chain 2, and then you want to find your first single crochet that you did between your 2 puffs here, the anchor, and you'll put 3 double crochets in that same stitch. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then again, you'll want to chain 2, find that chain 2 between your first 2 puff stitches again, and do a single crochet. And that's your repeat. Basically, we're starting the next repeat. So after that, again, you'll want to chain 2. It's going to be all chain 2 and between all the stitches, sets of stitches that you'll be doing this row. So it'll be chain 2, single crochet in this chain 2 here in between your 2 puff stitches. Then you'll chain 2, you'll find the next single crochet in between your 2 puffs and do 3 double crochets in that. Then you'll chain 2, and again you'll find your puff stitch or your 2 puff stitches and put a single crochet in that. Then chain 2, and we'll repeat by putting 3 double crochets in between, in the single crochet between our next 2 puff stitch shells. And then after you've done your 3 shells again, you will chain 2, and then again find the chain 2 in between your first 2 puff stitches and single crochet. And then you will chain 2 again, and then you'll find your very first single crochet that we did, and you will put 2 double crochets in that single crochet to end your row. 1, 2. So that your 2 double crochets will now mirror the chain 3 and the single double crochet at the beginning. Whoops. So that's what the second row looks like. Okay, for row 3, we're going to start the offset of our shells. We just did these 3 shells, and now for this row we're going to have 2 shells offset from these plus 2 half puff stitches on the puff stitch shells on the end. So I'm going to take this slow for you. So for row 3, you want to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then turn. In this very first puff stitch of the row, you're going to put a double crochet. So this counts as 2 double crochets. This chain 3 will count as a double crochet, and then you have another double crochet in the same first stitch. Now you want to chain 2, and working in that same stitch as before, you'll work a puff stitch. So yarn over, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into that same stitch, pull up a loop, one more time, yarn over, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops. Then you're going to chain 1, like we do at the end of all the puff stitch shells we did before. You'll only chain 1 at the end. And then you will find the single crochet that you made before, that you worked in between the first 2 puff shells. You worked a single crochet in the chain 2 space. So you're going to work a single crochet into that space. So you have a single crochet and a single crochet. Then after that, you're going to move on over and find the center of the 3 double crochets that we did last row. So this center double crochet will now become where we're going to put our next puff stitch shell. So you'll yarn over, go into that center double crochet stitch, pull up a loop, And then of course you'll repeat that 2 more times. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, go into the same stitch, 7 loops on your hook. Pull through all 7 loops, chain 2. Then repeat that again in the same stitch, your second puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 7 loops on my hook, pull through all 7 loops, again chain 2, then do your final puff stitch in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, pull through all 7 loops, last puff stitch of the shell, so I'm only chaining 1. Then again you're going to find that single crochet that you did in between your 2 puff stitches last time and put a single crochet in it. And you're going to repeat that for the row. Again, you'll find that middle double crochet, the stitch, and do your next puff stitch there. Okay, when you get to the end of the row, I just put a single crochet in my single crochet like you were doing in between all the other puff stitches. And now to end the row, you'll want to find that chain 3 at the very end. You have a double crochet and you have a chain 3 here. So find the top of the single crochet and you want to put a puff stitch into that top of the chain 3. And then when you get done, chain 2, and then again in that same stitch you'll put a double crochet, and then that will end row 3. Okay, for row 4 you want to chain 1 and turn. Now you want to single crochet in this first stitch of the row into that double crochet. Then you'll chain 2, and then we're going to do just like we did last row, or not last row but the row before that. We're going to be working 3 double crochets in this between your, this is a half puff shell and then this is a full. So it's just like you did in this one where there was 2 full, you had a single crochet in between. You have the same here, half of a shell puff stitch and then a single crochet, and then a full one, single crochet, full one, single crochet. So you have a single crochet between each. So in the center single crochets you'll always be working 3 double crochets. So find that single crochet and work 3 double crochets. We're going to be using these 3 double crochets to create our off shell next row. And then again when you come to the first 2 puff stitches you'll put a single crochet. So it's basically a repeat of what we did, not last row but the row before. So this is what I call the prep row. So you'll chain 2, find the next single crochet between your puff stitches and put your 3 double crochets there. These prep rows are like super fast and super easy. After your 3 double crochets you'll chain 2, then find that chain 2 in between your 2 puff stitches and single crochet. Then again you'll chain 2 after each time you do a set. So single crochet, chain 2, find the next single crochet and put your 3 double crochets in that stitch. And then again you'll want to chain 2. Then to finish your row you'll want to single crochet in this very last stitch. Well, there's the chain 3 and then there's the single crochet, so I'm going to just find the top of my double crochet here and then put a single crochet there in the top of my double crochet and not in the top of this chain, because I think it'll make it look better. But you can do it in the chain, whichever do you think will work better for you. Okay, so that was the end of row 4. So for row 5 you want to chain 1 and turn, and you want to single crochet in the first single crochet of the row and then chain 1. Now we're going to find our center out of the 3 double crochets and we're going to start working our puff stitch shell there. So yarn over, find the center double crochet and pull up a loop, and you'll do that 2 more times till you've got 7 loops on your hook. Pull through all 7 loops, chain 2, and then repeat that again. Same stitch, put your next puff stitch, pull through all 7 loops, chain 2. Now for your final puff stitch to complete your shell. 1, 2, and 3. Pull through all 7 loops and chain 1. Then you're going to find that single crochet again from the last row and put a single crochet in there. It's basically like we did before. Then after your single crochet, you'll chain 2, find that center double crochet again, and start your next puff stitch shell. Oh, my voice got deep there for a second. Shell. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then the very last one here. 1, 2, 3. Pull through all 7 loops, chain 1, and then again you're going to find that single crochet that you put in the chain 2 space in between your puffs last row, and put a single crochet in it. Then once again chain 2. Whoa. And then my wire's getting in the way. So then you finish the last puff shell in your center double crochet here. Chain 2, then do the next puff stitch. Okay, then one more. Okay, then chain 1, and in the very last stitch of the row, you just put a single crochet in this very last stitch. And that's how you end row 5. Now you want to repeat rows 2 through 5 over and over and over again. So go ahead and back up the video to row 2, and then you can follow me through the whole thing all over again. So that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did and it helped you, then please leave a like or a comment down below letting me know that it did. Also, you can always find the link to the pattern in the description box below if you want to follow along. It has pictures there that may help you. I have a Facebook page, a group called Crochet for the Masses. We'd love to have you come over there and talk shop with us. Anything to do with crochet, things you've made, cool free patterns that you found, but there's no selling or anything like that on there. Also, if you're interested in wanting to know what kind of hook this is a, I'll get on the right. This is a Furls crochet hook. This is a wooden one, and I ordered it with the extended handle because the original one comes with something like this, and doing puff stitches like this would make it very difficult to have that much loops on the shorter one. So I had to send it back, and I got an extended handle. So I recommend if you want to order one of these, order it with the extended hook. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.